Thank you very much for the floor, Mr. Director, and for the introduction. And yes, indeed, I will have to run because we have question time in the Parliament at 2 o'clock, so it's not recommended to be late for that. Madam Chairperson, Mr. State Secretary, Excellencies, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to welcome you here in Bratislava at the International Sympózium on Nuclear Safety, co-organized by the Embassy of Japan and the government of the Slovak Republic, under the auspices of the Nuclear Regulatory Authority of the Slovak Republic. My welcome goes especially to those who traveled great distance to be here today and to share their unique experience with us. I believe this symposium will be an important step to foster the existing expert dialogue and deepen international cooperation in the field of nuclear safety. Let me in my introduction briefly touch upon the current state of Slovak-Japanese relations first, and then to address the very topic of this event. This conference carries a special symbolic meaning, since this year we commemorate the 20th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Slovakia and Japan. Past 2 decades have made our relations well established, multifaceted, and constantly evolving. Our interest to further enhance our mutual relations have been proved by the recent first ever official visit of the President Ivan Gasparovich in Japan last June. Admiration of the strength and resilience of Japanese people in the process of rebuilding the disaster-affected Tohoku area was reflected when President Gasparovich visited the city of Ishinomaki in Miyagi Prefecture. And as a token of our continued solidarity, the President presented a donation for the reconstruction of Kadonovaki Elementary School. The upcoming 5-day visit of their Imperial Highnesses in Slovakia, scheduled for later this year, will be another landmark of our bilateral relations and an opportunity to look ahead and to reflect on rich potential for the further growth of our bilateral relations. In the relatively short history of our relations, cooperation between Slovakia and Japan has come a long way, making Japan one of our closest partners and friends in Asia. Sharing common values and principles has been an essential component of this cooperation since its very beginning. Though between Slovakia and Japan there are remarkable cultural and linguistic differences and a huge geographical distance, cooperation between our 2 countries, including economic cooperation, is developing and has a growing tendency. Japan is Slovakia's second biggest foreign direct investor from Asia and the 3rd largest export market in Asia. Favorable and transparent investment environment has attracted up to 20 Japanese companies to place their production units in Slovakia. We appreciate the depth of political dialogue and a multiplicity of frameworks that upholds our mutual cooperation. They go beyond pure bilateral relationship and include Visegrad 4 plus Japan platforms, as well as broad and deep relations at the European Union-Japan level. From this perspective, the upcoming 21st EU-Japan Summit on March 25th is one of a particular importance and historical significance, as it should authorize the opening of negotiations on free trade area and framework agreement between the European Union and Japan. This triple, namely bilateral, Visegrad 4 and European Union level of cooperation, has proven to be a comparative advantage, reinforcing effectiveness of our responses to regional and global challenges. One of them is definitely the nuclear safety, the topic of this symposium. Let me address it with some short remarks. Slovakia, like Japan, has a long-standing nuclear power program with more than 50 years of experience with construction, operation, as well as decommissioning of nuclear power plants. Currently, there are 4 nuclear reactors in operation in our country, which provide for 55% of all electricity produced in Slovakia. Nuclear energy is for us an important part of energy mix and an important pillar of our energy security. The Slovak government, backed by a favorable attitude of Slovak public, fully supports nuclear energy. Mainly 3 facts speak in favor of this technology. First, it's the stability of prices generated by nuclear power facilities. Second is the necessity to decrease the dependence on the import of energy raw materials. And thirdly is the reduction of CO2 emissions. The European Union, as you know, has the ambition to be the world leader in emission reduction, and the aim is to reduce emissions by 20% by 2020, as compared with 1990. Indeed, if we want to combine climate protection with ensuring reliable and cheap energy, we cannot exclude nuclear technology from our energy mix, at least not in upcoming decades. In Slovakia, it means that after the closure of V1 nuclear power station in Jaslovské Bohunice, we would like to proceed with the completion of the third and fourth blocks of the nuclear power station in Mochovce and to build a new nuclear source. Fundamental prerequisite for accomplishing these ambitions is, however, nuclear safety. It should definitely be the country's exclusive competence to choose and structure their national energy mix, but nuclear safety and security are global concerns. Therefore, Slovakia is in favor of strengthening the role of international safety review missions. We are of the opinion that the International Atomic Energy Agency plays a crucial role in this area, particularly by setting global nuclear safety and security standards and providing states with assistance and guidance. A second major task lies in research. At issue is the fourth generation of nuclear fission reactors, nuclear fusion research project, as well as the final storage facilities with the highest safety standards. I would strongly support enhancement of international cooperation in this field. Existing funding for major research at European level during the next budgetary period represents a good basis for this cooperation to be successful. But at the same time, in order to speed up research, firms in the energy sector and research firms must be our partners far more than it has been the case up to now. Ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, let me recall the tragic accident in Fukushima we commemorate these days. The accident underlines the need for an improved safety culture. It also demonstrates that no matter how high the standards, the quest for improvement must never cease. In this regard, I want to acknowledge that the effort by the nuclear community to learn lessons from the Fukushima accident reflects our commitment to go the extra mile to enhance safety. These lessons should help us to prepare better in three ways. Firstly, technically. This is in particular the purpose of the stress tests launched within the European Union, and these tests have confirmed that Slovak nuclear plants take full account of all identified internal and external risks. Secondly, in terms of transparency and communication with the public. This point appears to me absolutely essential. More public debate and awareness raising, as well as genuine transparency, will help the nuclear technology to get the necessary acceptance. Without acceptance, the nuclear technology will not find its place in a future energy system. And last but not least, from the point of view of an international coordination, as well as experience exchange, after all, this seems to be the main purpose of this symposium. In this regard, I hope that the exchange of experience and opinion in this gathering will stimulate the interest of participants to establish and foster relationship to cooperate for maintaining and improving the quality of their activities. I wish you to spend 2 profitable days here in Bratislava in an intensive, useful and objective dialogue, and I thank you for your attention.